Yes. Shiva, those of you who have a fine connection with music may also find that you have a innate connection to clairaudience. You know, those who have music careers, those who write music, those who can play music, those who sing music, will find that they have an innate connection to clairaudience. And here is why. Your clairaudience is connected to your throat chakra. Your clairaudience is connected to your throat chakra. So when you are using your voice, you are clearing the throat chakra. One of the most beautiful ways to elevate the throat chakra is through creating sound, right? That's why we talk about like the Om kind of sound. Om, we want to feel that through our body. Om means divine God, right? All one creator. Om. When you begin to use the tones and sing with your voice, you actually begin to help clear the throat chakra. When you clear the throat chakra, it will begin to help motivate your voice that needs to be heard, that wants to be heard, that is desired to be heard, but it will also activate your listening. Now, many of us kind of clairaudience is clear hearing, right? It's clear hearing. So a lot of times people think that this is kind of like me talking to you, like me talking to you right now where you can hear me. It's not actually connected to the ears. Unless we're talking about an objective clairaudient ability, which usually falls in line with mediumship, okay? And connecting with, let's say, ghost energy and not necessarily spirit energy, okay? Clairaudience is an internal sound inside your mind. How many of you wake up with songs in your head that just won't go away? You have a song in your mind and it just won't go away. You wake up and you're like, what in the world? You're walking around and you're like hearing this song and it's going through your head and you're like, why am I listening to that song? Why is that song in my head? Why am I hearing that song? I wake up with a lot of songs. Songs are messengers for me. How many of you, Tanya says daily, how many of you actually wake up with a song in your head and it drives you absolutely crazy until you tell somebody or until you actually, for me, when I wake up, sometimes when I wake up with a song inside my head, I will literally look up the lyrics to it. I will feel whether or not I feel like that song is for me or somebody else. And then I will look up the lyrics to it. I will read the lyrics to the song. I have to listen to it for hours. I will read the lyrics to the song to see what the guides are trying to tell me through the lyrics of the song. Because sometimes we're not listening. Sometimes we're not paying attention. Sometimes it's just, you know. So they will actually drop in messages through lyrics and songs, okay, that we recognize. And we can begin to kind of look at the lyrics and see how it affects and how it's answering a question in your life, how it's motivating you in your life, etc., etc. And then you may find as you begin to move on through the day, Jeannie, yay! As you begin moving through the day, you may find that song may also connect to somebody else. And when you finally give the message or you receive the message, the song goes away. It's so amazing, right? Was thinking about something and heard, don't stop believing. Yes. Yeah. Okay. You guys don't want me to sing to you, and I apologize for singing to you, but I get excited, so I end up singing. So this is good because music is a way that you're using a clairaudient ability. When you hear songs in your head that will not go away, this is actually telling you that you already have a clairaudient ability that's present. It's already there. It's already present. Okay? I think when people are actually looking to create a deeper connection with spirit, they're looking for like the sound to come in through the ears. A lot of you will talk about ringing ears. How many of you talk about ringing ears? Like the ringing of your ears drive you crazy. You're getting ringing of the ears coming in and it drives you banana sandwich. How many of you have the ringing of the ears? And then what I love is I love when people say, I try to listen in to the ringing. I try to listen in for the message. I try to listen in for the message. So a lot of times when you're hearing the buzzing coming in, ears have been ringing nonstop since the injury. I am used to it. Yeah, I never know what it means. I do. It's not as frequent anymore. So let me just tell you what that is. That's not necessarily your spirit trying to give you message, right? It's not necessarily your spirit trying to give you messages. It's actually when a divine connection enters into the physical aura. You hear how it's like, you hear that sound rubbing through my hands. It's like a little friction, right? And it makes a little sound. So when the divine energy is near you and close to you, and it's really here to kind of comfort you and let you know and let you be in awareness that the divine energy is here, your ears will begin to ring. So when you have the ringing of the ears come up, the one thing that I want you to do is I just want you to stop, close your eyes, feel into your heart, and thank the divine for being with you. Thank the divine for being with you. Ask the divine to just step back a little bit, and you will notice that the ringing will stop. Boom, just like that. Okay? You'll notice that the ringing will stop. It doesn't mean that they're not present with you. It's just that they're not creating a friction, because they may be coming in to send you a message, but the energy may be too close for you to actually receive the message. So if you hear the friction of the sound coming in, thank your guides for being with you, thank spirit for being with you, divine being with you, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it, you know, whatever's up to you, God, Goddess, Jesus, the one, divine, Odin, Thor, Freya, whatever it is for you. Thank your divine team for being with you. Feel into your heart and just ask them to step back a little bit, and you'll notice that it's gone. It's gone. They've not left you. But the energy is not so intense that you actually are not able to receive a message, okay? So the fact that you are talking to yourself, answering yourself back, may point to the fact that you already have a clairaudient ability already developing within you. Hearing songs inside your head when you wake up in the morning may point to the fact that you have a clairaudient available already. I've tried this many times, and the sound does not go away. I think mine might be just the cause of the injury. Yours is definitely cause of the injury. This is like, so yours may actually have to do, you've had a lot of injury in that area, so that may have a lot to do with injury. Hi, Austin. What if you have a natural connection and you're always like this? Is there a difference? So I don't know what you're actually referring to, Lauren. You may want to help me a little bit more with that question, because like for me, I mean, I've got a strong connection to my abilities. Hi, Katrina. I do have a strong connection to my abilities and with my clairaudience, but the ringing isn't always there. Now, if you have a medical condition where there's constant ringing, that's not necessarily pointing to a psychic ability. That's actually something that you need to go to the doctor to and get checked. The ringing of the ears is something that will come in and go away. It'll come in and go away. And it won't be a constant kind of coming in and going away. It'll come in, you'll hear it. You know, it may even be a daily thing, but it's not an all the time thing. Does that make sense? So, and it will come in different ears, by the way, as well. So you may get ringing on this ear one day, and then 2 days later get ringing on this ear, but it's not like coming in at the same time. Yeah, it's a great point. Sometimes you can tell it to stop. And the way that I do that, as I said, is asking the energy to step back. Asking the energy to step back. When the energy steps back, you will feel that clearing. And actually, you'll start to probably get those little feelings of goosebumps, which is clairsentience, right? You may get actually just feeling the connection is still with you, okay? So clear audience isn't connected to these things really right here. It's connected to your throat. It's connected to your throat. And so if you're not speaking your truth, if you're not using your voice, if you're not, practicing like an om sound or singing songs or using your voice in any way, you may feel disconnected from your clear audience. I did finally hear a random bell sound one night when we have no bells. Spirit guides, being jokers, finally making the bells ring when I'm not playing with them. So your spirit guides are good. Let me just say this. Your spirit guides love for you guys to play. Spirit guide energy is in the energy of joy. It's in the frequency, Spirit guide energy is in the frequency of joy. So your spirit guides love for you to come to them with games and challenges and to test them out, and all. They love that. If you think like, they're not going to like that and we need to be like, oh, all day, you may find that you may feel more disconnected from them when you're not playing with them, when you're not in the realm of joy or having fun with them. They love to work with you through different games, through joyous ways of communicating with them, like show me a sign of a red balloon. Like they love that kind of energy. It's joyous, it's fun, and it feels good, right? It's a feel-good kind of energy. Your spirit guides are in the frequency of joy. Now, that does not mean that you could be in a very low, vulnerable moment and not receive guidance from them. Let me just say that. Okay, because they can be ever present. I remember being in one of the lowest moments in my life when I was sick. I had really bad pneumonia, and I had pneumonia and bronchitis that were actually fighting with each other, right? So I can remember being so deathly sick, and really I was so sick I was actually crying my eyes out and wondering if I was going to die. That's how sick I was. And my guides came to me, and I used to think back then that I always had to be in a high vibration for them to come to me. And I was in a pivotal moment in my life, and they came in a very, very powerful way. One of the most powerful ways that I've ever experienced them coming. So to say that it's only joy frequency is not true. But when you're in joy frequency and you're having fun and you're playing with them, they are so open to that. I don't want you to think it always has to be, okay? They are so open to the playful, joyful energy. Christine, hello. Christine came down and took me to the beach and got me burnt. I think there's a little bit of burning going on in my face. It's all her fault. Okay, let me read Lauren's comment. What I am asking is that if you have a natural connection and your ear rings all the time, I don't have a medical condition or difficulty healing, the ringing is always there. But it does not... Oh, I hate Facebook sometimes. Hold on, Lauren, I'm trying to get to it. But it does not block out any other sounds. I just did not know if there was a difference between having a natural connection, having to strive for a connection. So if it's ringing all the time and you've had your ears tested and you have no medical conditions that you know of, and it's ringing all the time, then I think that we need to talk about boundaries here. Because if you're asking Spirit to step back and it doesn't stop ringing, then it's not honoring what you wish, right? Which means that you may have to look at some boundaries in your personal life, because as above, so below. When we need to create boundaries, Spirit will show us in such beautiful ways. So if you're asking for the energy to step back and it's not, your spirit guides will always go to your free will, but they'll also show you if you're not initiating boundaries in your life. So I would take a look first at where my boundaries lie. Okay? I would take first at where my boundaries lie. What boundaries need to be put in place? What boundaries am I not enforcing? What boundaries am I not looking at? And then speak to your divine team about setting and standing by your boundaries and asking them to step back. If the energy is not going away, then you definitely need to get it checked out by a medical professional, okay? Okay. Let me come back. Okay. Okay. Let me just do this. Does anyone have any questions about clairaudience? Is there any questions that anybody has? Like, if you have a question, if I can help answer it. Well, if they're not honoring what you state, then there's a reason why. Okay. Anybody have any questions around clairaudience that maybe you're having in your brain and you're not answering here that you would like to know? Your inner hearing will be an inside hearing. It'll be an internal hearing, right? Your inner hearing will be an internal hearing. So the way that I love to open my throat chakra or get really connected to my throat chakra is to literally put my hand right here and hum. Hum. You know why? Because I can feel the energy of my voice. I can feel the power in my voice. Yes, we're doing it right now, gorgeous. Oh, such a good question. She asked, with clairaudience, is there ways to strengthen the throat chakra? Like if you're already singing and speaking, how can you stop it from being blocked? I actually, because I'm working with Shiva personally, I don't think your throat chakra is blocked, but I do think that there's other places where you can use your voice as well. Are the voices in your voice, will it ever... Okay, hold on. Let me get to the... Facebook is being jumpy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Will it ever mean another tone of voice? It's a great question. Is it in your own voice? Knowing when you hear it and it isn't your imagination, there's a difference between physically hearing it outside or up within you. I have a hard time deciphering imagination. Knowing when you hear it and it isn't just your imagination, there's a difference between physically hearing it outside of you versus within you. I have a hard time deciphering imagination. What is the difference between clairaudience and clairknowing? Okay, great questions. So we're going to talk about first strengthening that throat chakra. So the way that I love to do it is I love to literally place my hand on my throat and make sounds. Feel it, right? Make sounds. Feel the power in your voice. And as you're making sounds, you repeat to yourself in a mantra, my voice is powerful. Feel that when you say it. My voice is powerful. I want everyone to put their hands right here, right below the neck, between the neck and the chest. This is where your heart and your throat are getting connected. And I want you to say the words. Let's just like make it like a magic spell that we're all doing together. My voice is powerful. My voice is powerful. What I have to say matters. What I have to say matters. It's time for me to speak up. It's time for me to speak up. It's okay to say no when I want to say no. It's okay to say yes when I want to say yes. My voice is powerful. Speaking little mantras like that is going to really help open the connection. Now, here's another piece. I have a piece of selenite here. I have a little tiny selenite wand. And you'll notice, just as I did, as you begin to start clearing the throat, you may have little sensations of like feeling like a phlegmy throat, or even kind of getting, that's clearing it. So when you need to use your voice, you will notice that you'll get that little phlegmy sensation in your throat. And when you clear your throat, you could also find yourself going, it's like kind of from the throat, right? A little phlegmy cough coming up. I love to use selenite, but you can also use clear crystal quartz. Selenite is such a wonderful way to kind of just move that throat chakra and keep it moving. And sometimes I will literally just place that, like the point part at my throat, And I will just literally just begin to kind of circle in. I do a clockwise circle. I just allow myself to like just kind of feel the energy. Close my eyes. And I can even say, my voice is powerful. My voice is powerful. What I have to say is important. I must be heard. My voice is powerful. Little things like that, little mantras like that. It's okay for me to say no when I need to say no. It's okay for me to say yes when I need to say yes. My voice has power, right? Okay. So that's another way to begin to open up your third chakra. When you begin to open up your third chakra and you begin to ask yourself questions, or you're moving along the day, and you begin to kind of like ask yourself questions. Maybe you're a person who talks to herself all the time, like I do. I tend to talk out loud to myself all the time. And I will even answer myself out loud, but maybe you're talking to yourself in your head. I love to draft a list of questions. This is how I love to do it. I love to draft a list of questions. Part of my morning routine. What are the possibilities for me today? You know, which guide is with me today? And how are you guiding me? And then every time I ask the question, I just pause. Right? I just pause. And I'm not necessarily looking for an answer to come through in that moment. I'm not looking for an answer to come through in that exact moment. But I know if I'm hearing something in my own voice answer me back, it may just be that I've got so used to hearing that voice that I'm perceiving the sound to be my own. So when you first begin developing your clairaudience and becoming more aware of your clairaudience, you will notice in the beginning that the voice that comes back is the sound of your own voice. It may sound in your tone, it may sound in your voice, and that's because you're perceiving it to be your own voice speaking back to you. Now, spirit and spirit guides, they don't have tongues, they don't have throat, they don't have the what am I looking, voice box, okay? So they're not going to be like, hey girl, what's up, right? And you're going to be able to hear them like so super clear and all this good stuff, right? So when they speak to you through a vibration of tones that creates words. And as you begin listening to your own answers in your head, as you begin to become more and more aware of that voice, the tones will begin to change. Does anybody ever hear bells ringing inside their head or their phone ringing inside their head? Are the voices in our voice, will it ever meet? Yeah, so it's paying attention to it, right? It's really just paying attention to it. Sheba says no to the bells of the cell phone. If any of you ever like walking around and all of a sudden you hear your cell phone going off in your head, like my cell phone has been going off, it goes off so loud in my head sometimes I actually think my phone is ringing, right? This is a way, if you think about it, spirit is very, very symbolic. Spirit is extremely, extremely symbolic. So if you think that phone is our way of communication, they may be like, hey, let's connect, right? Let's do some communication. When you hear the phone ringing in your head, maybe that's time to stop and just kind of drop into your body and begin asking your spirit guides questions. Are you here? How are you here? Who's here? Like, what are you here for? And begin listening to the tones in your, of your own voice, okay? I've heard a car detector once a long time ago and later drove past a cop. They're telling you to slow down. They're telling you to slow down. I've heard everything in my head, especially in dreams. That's where clairaudience comes through the most, yes. Because you literally have astral traveled into the dream world. You're connecting with your guides. So you will hear it. It'll be much stronger. a lot in the past, not so much anymore, you may have closed off kind of that part of the hearing ability by not using your voice as much. Okay. Okay, somebody asked the difference between clairaudience and clair knowing, which is what's called claircognizance. All this third chakra work. I must have something I need to say. Funny. Okay, so somebody had asked here, what is the difference between clairaudience and claircognizance? So clairaudience is literally when you're having a dialogue coming in your brain, right? You're literally having dialogue coming in. It's not coming from out here, it's coming from an internal place. So you're literally having dialogue coming in. And this dialogue is oftentimes you talking back and forth to yourself. And you can ascertain like the dialogue. So claircognizance is what we call clair knowing. That's usually what a lot of times what happens is if you've ever had, and we're going to be talking about claircognizance tomorrow, but if you've ever had like, a creepy crawly feeling on your head, or you felt like, some little pressure up here or tingling up here, let's say that you have a lot of dreams that you don't remember, it's what I call spirit giving you kind of downloads, right? This is downloads of knowledge, downloads channeling, downloads of information that comes in through the noggin. Oftentimes, we're not aware of what's being downloaded in the moment, but it's there for us to use when we need it the most. And so clair knowing is like, there's no dialogue. You say something, and you're like, damn, that sounded good, or where did I get that information from? It's literally having no dialogue, but like literally being in a conversation with somebody or on a live stream, and something comes out like that. It's just like because you know, and you may not even be sure why you know, but you know. Okay, so that's the difference between clairaudience and claircognizance. One is actually creating communication for you. The other one is just like you're spitting out information, like you're like, the Webster's Dictionary or Google, right? So that's the difference between the two. Clairaudience for me seems to be that spirit talks through the right ear while physical sounds are more intense with left ear. What you're talking about mediumship. That's a little bit different than what we're talking about. So there is a physical clairaudience. There's an objective clairaudience and a subjective clairaudience. Usually objective clairaudience comes in a mediumship form. We're going to be introducing mediumship in esoteric emergence and why it may be useful for some people to use and why some others may just want to develop the gift just for their own personal use. So esoteric emergence is going to actually introduce those of you who are connecting to mediumship or want to connect deeper into mediumship or have a calling towards it, okay? Okay, so one way that you can develop, another way that you can really, really begin to develop that clairaudient ability is through meditation. Now, what I like to do, this is my funnest exercise I like to give. Basically, you put in earbuds or headphones on your ears, and you don't connect it to anything. Okay, you don't connect to anything. In the background, you put on light music that you can barely hear with the headphones. Light music that you can barely hear with the headphones. And while you sit and you close your eyes, you take deep breaths in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. But what you're trying to do when you hear the breath is that you're listening to the breath going in and listening to the breath going out. That's one way. Another way you can do it is as you're breathing, try to reach and try to listen for the sound of your heartbeat. Why is this exercise so powerful? Because it's training you to listen in. We're so used to listening with our ears and listening for the outward signs that when we try to develop clairaudience, we kind of do the same thing. This is training you to kind of listen inwards. The truth is you're probably never going to hear your heartbeat, but the intention and the practice going in and trying to hear your heartbeat is what's going to help you to direct that energy coming in. Okay, so that's the exercise I'm going to leave you with. And I will tell you, is Sheba still here? Sheba did that exercise for a solid month. And I know that she is now experiencing real clairaudient messages, real strong clairaudient messages. Okay. If you are looking to develop your abilities, if you're looking to go all in and deep dive in this connection to soul and living a divinely guided life, and you're feeling like this has a lot to do with your development and your purpose, Esoteric Emergence is on early bird now. It's not going to last long. Esoteric Emergence is on early bird now, and it's not going to last long. If you're feeling called to this, you're in the right place. If you're feeling called to develop this gift and all the others, you're in the right place. This is the work that I've done for years, and this is the work I love to do, is helping you connect deeper to soul so that you're living a divinely guided life, to get you from like staying out in the clouds and just tapping into 5D, tapping into 7D, and bringing it into your 3D world and feeling your power and feeling your confidence. So if you are interested in Esoteric Emergence, please, please, please let me know. You can drop an EE here in the comments. You can message me. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Tanya. Tanya's just dropped the link. So grab the link, get signed up. Let's do this. I love you guys. And I will be back tomorrow. We're going to talk about the third eye, and we're going to talk about claircognizance and the crown chakra. Okay? Have a beautiful day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.